Jason and I both have been saying many times on this podcast that we started this podcast to talk about issues both in and out of sports arenas. And so I'm super proud to have this guest on because she's used her platform to promote positive social change. And we want to chip together in 2015 for the Lynx. Devereaux Peters, what up with you?
What's up?
Woo! Okay, so listen, in the intro, I mentioned the positive social change that you're trying to make because you're here to talk about National Gun Violence Awareness Day. So tell our listeners basically how did you get involved?
So in 2013, my second year with the Lynx, my cousin was murdered in Baltimore, Maryland. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time and ended up being killed. And at the time, it was something I kind of dealt with on my own. I had to figure out, obviously, I was still playing, so I was in the midst of that. But I left and went, to his funeral and stayed out there for I believe a week or so, spent time with my family. But when I came back, I went back in kind of like basketball mode and kind of just put it away and didn't really deal with it. So flash forward a couple years later, we're starting to see a lot more discussions about gun violence and how we can change things. And I really got to a point where I got tired of watching things transpire on TV and seeing all these things happening and not really feeling like I was doing anything about it. And so I decided I wanted to get more involved and ended up getting connected with Everytown for Gun Safety. And kind of the rest is history. Been able to do a ton of work with them about making people more aware about gun violence, how we can prevent it, the steps that you can take, get the legislation that we need in place and all. And, in the process, learning on my own and figuring all of that out, as well as really being able to help me deal with my own trauma and the stuff that I hadn't really dealt with at the time. So that's kind of how I got started in it.
Gun violence is such an intractable problem, seemingly, in our country. And yet it's something that is so obviously broken and wrong. What are some of those things that we could put in place via legislation or otherwise to help stem the tide of this terrible violence?
Yeah. So, like you said, gun violence is something that we see every day. You can, read off the stats. There's 100 people being killed, Americans being killed every day. And that's not including those that are just shot and wounded. There's, this is affecting the Black communities and the brown communities even more, to the point where, Black people are 3 times more likely to be shot by police, or, 68% of Black and brown people have been affected by gun violence in some way, whether it's them themselves or somebody they care about. So we see it, constantly. And sometimes it gets pushed off, especially I'm from Chicago. So especially here, a lot of people like to view it as gun violence all the time, gang violence, and that's it. And they don't want to. So, that's just gang violence. That's not something we need to worry about because they need to figure that out on their own. But it's so much deeper than that. There is gang violence. But, there are a lot of systemic issues that gang violence stem from, it's lack of opportunities, lack of good housing. There's a lot of stuff that goes into why there are gangs and they feel the need to go there. Right. But then there's also domestic violence. There's also accidental shootings where, your gun wasn't being stored properly. Suicides are their top is going to be suicide. So these are all things that we're addressing when we're talking about gun violence. Right. So the policies that we really are pushing right now that are most important are going to be number one, background checks on all gun sales. That means that right now, if you're selling privately, you don't have to do a background check. That means that people are able to buy guns from private sellers and not have any check done on who they are, why they're buying for it, if they had any issues in the past. And that's a problem. That's a major problem. So number one, background checks on all gun sales. But then also, we're really pushing right now the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Obviously, with George Floyd, the anniversary coming up, that's something we're pushing very strongly. That's effectively going to put a ban on chokeholds. There are other provisions that are going to address a ban on no-not warrants for drug charges. And a lot of the things that we've been seeing in a lot of these causes that we're pushing as of late. So that's definitely something that we're pushing legislation on. That's something you should definitely contact your senators about. That's something easy call or a letter that you can make if you really want to contribute in that way.
Absolutely. Contact your senators. Now, what's the meaning of wear orange and how is the WNBPA involved? Because as I know, I've been wearing orange. Every time you tell me to wear orange, I'm wearing orange.
So wear orange actually started in Chicago. It was a young girl named Hadia Pendleton who was shot and killed. She was 15-year-old in 2013. She had just performed at Obama's second inauguration, and a couple of weeks later, she was killed. And then a group of her friends wanting to honor her and really start the process of bringing more awareness decided to come together, and they chose orange because that's the color that hunters wear when they're out hunting to show that they're not the target. And so they used that as a connection and started that movement, and it's really just blown up at the time. They kind of went viral and it went worldwide, and they've just been able to hang on to it from there. Every town has been able to push it even more into the sports world, entertainment industry, and really reach a larger audience. And then we started about a year or two ago the Every Town for Gun Safety Athletic Council, which I was one of the founding members of. And we have a bunch of different athletes that are looking to do more to teach about gun violence prevention and gun violence awareness. So when I joined, obviously, we wanted to get connected to the W. Obviously, with all that the W has done thus far, and even before it was really talked about, we understood that that was just a natural connection to make there, and got connected with the WNBPA, and it's been up from there. Definitely excited for this year's. It's going to fall on June 4th weekend. So definitely everybody, if you want to be involved, put on your orange, post about it, hashtag wear orange. You can tag Everytown, you can tag me in it. I'm excited to see everybody get involved. And also one thing that I'm really excited for this year. So last year when we did it, obviously we got the players out the shirts and they were able to make that push on social media. And a lot of other people and fans wanted to be involved. So this year we're able to partner with Dick's Sporting Goods. So the Wear Orange shirt will be sold. If you want the ones that specifically the players have been wearing, those will be sold on the Dick's Sporting Goods site. And you can purchase those to wear. So I'm really excited for this year. That's a dope partnership. Dick's has been doing a whole lot as of late. So really appreciate them.
Dick's Sporting Goods, we love to see it. We really do. And we love to see the support. Hashtag wear orange, everyone. And you talked about things looking up this year. And how have you seen, what surprised you the most about since the WNBA, where we came in and where it is now? Because there's been some large growths over the years now.
Yeah, I think that especially with this last CBA, it's been huge strides. For me, I think what's been most important is the involvement from the players. Because we know, going through a lot of those negotiations, we have 2 or 3 since I had been in the league. Yeah. We had 2 or 3 in that short span. And it wasn't a lot of engagement. And I think that's why we weren't able to push the envelope that far. But this last round, everybody was involved. Everybody was speaking out. I felt there was a lot more connectivity in their organization there. And the players really are involved and they want to see change and they're making it. And outside of just the money itself, you see it. You're seeing the push. You're seeing people. The fans want more. The players are pushing for more and they're starting to get it. We're starting to get put and on regular normal channels and not just
I literally turn on a WNBA game every night on TV. Right? That is growth.
It's awesome. And then you see the growth in the numbers as well. And it's wow, Imagine that if you put us somewhere where people can view us, the numbers will grow.
Imagine if you put the sport on TV, people will watch it. What a concept. Okay, so before we let you go, I have to ask you something. Maybe we have to reveal something. So we played together on that 2015 championship team for the Minnesota Lynx. Now, I know that there was no competition, but let's reveal who was the best dancer on that roster.
Oh, my God.
Who was the best dancer, Dev?
Okay, that's really hard.
Oh my gosh. How is this
I
hard?
feel like it's gonna be because it's gonna be between you and Moan. Come on, like
wow.
Moan.
So wait a minute. I was thinking it was no question. It was Simone.
Yeah, but I mean, I really enjoyed your. Obviously, we have Simone's pregame, but I really enjoyed your bench dances too. So
okay. Listen, see, I didn't know that was going to be the answer. I was going to say people don't know that Moan can really cut a rug.
Down. Yeah, for sure. We have some good times.
All right. So listen, I just thought we would reveal that, but again, for our listeners, National Gun Violence Awareness Day is June 5th. So if you want to get involved, use the hashtag Wear Orange or purchase the W Wears Orange t-shirts available at Dick's Sporting Goods. Devereaux, thank you for coming in and joining us on Takeline and also what you're doing to try to change things.
Thank you, Renee. Really excited to have you. But it's fun to be on the other side of this time.
You're